Here we are for round 1 of the daily event, and our opponent has won the die roll and has kept 7 cards. We will do the same. We have a hexproof creature, 2 spirit dancers, an aura, and 2 lands, and a leyline, which would possibly auto-win against a few decks and help us out tremendously against a few others. So I'm going to keep and put this premium foil Leyline of Sanctity into play, and let's begin the game. Well, Swamp means he can't Thoughtseize me, which is great. This could be like Living End. That would be the Nightmare scenario. If he cycles a Monstrous Carabid. Although our hand is decent against Living End at the very least, because we can play out 2 creatures, and if they die we can play the 3rd Spirit Dancer, start building on it, and then if he wants the Living End, that one, we'll get back the originals. These are just the worst case scenarios here. More likely than not, this Leyline's being awesome here. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, because I'm not sure what my opponent is playing just yet. And I haven't really had a chance to make a decision. Looks like he might be holding up Abrupt Decay, though. Rancor's a nice one. If my opponent has Abrupt Decay and I play Spirit Dancer, it's obviously dead. But if I play Spirit Mantle, that would get killed too. Spirit Mantle is important for attacking through Tarmogoyfs. Though I would really like to curve Spirit Dancer into Spirit Dancer Rancor next turn. So I'm most likely going to play Spirit Dancer and assume it's going to die. I could have also Rancored my creature, but I would have wasted a mana when I think I'd rather be more mana efficient here at the beginning. Also, if I play the Rancor this turn, then I can't play a Spirit Dancer plus a 1-drop Aura next turn because I wouldn't have a 1-drop in hand. And my opponent's not doing anything just yet. Okay, upkeep, Path to Exile. This is a weird hand. Most of the junk decks that I've seen, well, there's a type of junk deck that has like 4 Path to Exiles, but they play a lot of creatures, and you would have thought a creature would have came out by now. I will fetch a Plains, I suppose. So that way if I draw a fetch land I can... It doesn't really matter what I get, but Plains is preferable generally. And against decks with like Abrupt Decays and stuff, you want to just draw as many cards as you can off Spirit Dancer. Because here I could go Rancor Daybreak Coronet, but if they have an Abrupt Decay they can blow up the Rancor, have the Coronet fall off, they only take 1. I guess in this scenario, Rancor's rebuy ability makes it not that big of a blowout, but I still want to draw cards off Spirit Dancer. And I think I want to Rancor the Hexproof creature. Even though it seems like he probably doesn't have Abrupt Decay, But he might be just saving Abrupt Decay for auras. So he wanted to path and save Abrupt Decay for something like Coronet. Anyhow, I don't feel like I want to Rancor the Spirit Dancer. So he has the Abrupt Decay. Now he's probably going to begin the game of deploying threats such as Siege Rhino, but we have these two really nice auras for pushing past it. And yeah, the Spirit Dancers both got us a 2-for-1, so on top of Leyline possibly producing somewhat of a 2-for-1 if he has a couple discard spells. Actually, it looks like the island indicates he might be a Gifts Ungiven deck, which Leyline's very good against as well, because Gifts Ungiven, you have to target the opponent to cast, and since I have Hexproof, you won't be able to cast it. So Unflinching Courage. Okay, so I feel like I want to play these two this turn. Daybreak Coronet is a better card, so I'm going to play it first to play around Mana Leak. And I guess if I was scared of another Abrupt Decay, and this Rancor was a different aura, I would want to play the Courage first so that he couldn't like 2-for-1 me, but if I play Courage and he Abrupt Decays Rancor for the Coronet to full off, not that big of a blowout, still have the Rancor in hand. I do miss 2 points of damage this way, if that's the case, but so I guess playing around Mana Leak might not have been the best, but I'm not sure of the split between Abrupt Decays and Mana Leaks in that deck. It is more likely they have more Abrupt Decays. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what he could play to get out of this. Play some kind of a Wrath of God, I guess. He doesn't have the mana for any of the Wrath of Gods at the moment. Damnation, Supreme Verdict, Wrath, and Day of Judgment. I would expect a Gifts deck to have random one-ups like that, so he does have a lot of basics in play. Alright, not sure what the holdup is here. Maybe he has a Snapcaster Mage. So, he could Snapcaster Abrupt Decay the Coronet, but my guy lives because of Unflinching Courage here. I guess that's what he's thinking about. Otherwise, not sure what the holdup is. I would guess this is a Gifts Ungiven that he's trying to cast that can't. I guess he might be confused as to why he can't cast it. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay, there's the Snapcaster Abrupt Decay on the Coronet. And luckily we have this Spirit Mantle, so next turn we can still swing freely without fear of an Abrupt Decay, allowing Snapcaster to trade for our creature. Yeah, now that he's discovered he can't cast Gifts Ungiven, he took a lot more damage than he should have this turn. But he actually has a pretty reasonable hand for me having Leyline in play. He had a good curve of removal. But I'm still in pretty great shape, seeing as his best cards have been turned off. Alright, so sacrificing 5-drop of some sort, possibly here. Or it could just be a Wrath of God. Another swamp, so maybe a Damnation. Oh, Liliana, okay. Yeah, Leyline helps against the Lilianas too. I lose the Spirit Mantle, but I don't really need to fear a removal spell on Courage this next turn. Okay, there goes his Gifts Ungiven. He has 1 card in hand. Spider Umbra. Alright, so I'll draw a card first, just in case I hit a Spirit Dancer. And there's a superfluous Leyline that I can discard to Liliana. And the Spider Umbra will protect me from Wraths now. And I don't need to kill this, unless I fear a removal spell on Leyline, I guess. I guess I could be... I would assume they have at least 1 answer to Leyline in their deck, so I'm just gonna kill Liliana. I'm not really under too much pressure here, since I am again shutting off his win condition of Gifts Ungiven. I just don't want him to Maelstrom Pulse this and then Edict me and kill me. Okay, so this does not give me lethal, makes him have to chump with the Snapcaster though. And now I'm protected from pretty much most of his deck. Alright, so the Leyline of Sanctity was very good that game. Kept him from Gifts Ungivening, likely for Unburial Rites plus Iona, or Elishnorn, I'm not sure which one they would select. Or just 3 Wrath of Gods, because at that time I didn't have any Umbras. And then Liliana also would have just been a Juggernaut, an impossible card for me to beat, so Leylines are definitely staying in. I also want Gaddock Teagues because they stop Gifts Ungiven. We shouldn't need too much more. I guess it'd be nice to have some Path to Exiles if he has Spell Skites. I'd have to cut some pretty good cards from my deck to do that. I do like all the hexproof creatures, and I like Spirit Dancers. I'm gonna cut Dried Arbor. He showed a Ghost Quarter, and I also assume Dried Arbor's not going to get the job done. He has Path to Exiles in his deck. I know he can Path to Gaddock Teagues as well, but at least they do something if he doesn't have Path to Exile. They stop him from casting his Wraths, his Gifts Ungivens and stuff. I'll trim one Spirit Mantle as well. They don't have too many creatures. The ones that they do have are so big that I don't know if Spirit Mantle would get me back into it. Like Hellish Norn and Iona. I could swing past them if I have it set up. But I think I want pretty much all the other auras before I have those ones. And I want Courage just because it's a good card. If I'm short on cards, it at least does like a lot for the single card slot. Like that last game, it allowed my Slippery Boggle not to be killed by a Snapcaster Mage. I guess we're just hoping for another opening hand Leyline. My hand last game was really good. Because sometimes you'll have Leyline, but not like a good set of creatures. Like if I just had a single creature, he could have killed it, and I would have been sort of locked out of the game for a while there. Okay, so I have no creatures and no Leylines, even though these are very nice auras. So I'm going to mulligan. My opponent has mulligan to 6. I'll keep this, even though it doesn't have a Leyline. And we'll start things off with a Slippery Boggle. So this hand's decent because I can play 2 creatures in a row, so it forces him to have a removal spell into Liliana, whereas if I didn't have this creature and I just had a bunch of auras, I would get blown out by a Liliana. I guess Dryad Arbor would help me against Lilianas, and I do not have a Dryad Arbor in my deck right now, so something to keep in mind. Might need it in my deck for that reason. My hand's not too great. I would probably trade in all 3 of these for some more auras. Definitely at least 2 of them. Alright, we're going to sacrifice the Slippery Boggle. We need the Spirit Dancer to power us through, since we're short on actual cards. It makes us very susceptible to removal like Path to Exile. But if he doesn't have Path, we do have the Totem Arbor ability against cards like Abrupt Decay. And hopefully we find another hexproof creature along the way here, just in case he has a second Liliana. Leyline. Alright, I'm gonna leave his Liliana in play because I can leyline next turn to stop the Edict ability. And I actually wouldn't mind discarding some of these lands in exchange for some of his lands, or some of his real cards possibly. Alright. So, this next turn, I'm likely going to lead off with Leyline, and if it gets countered, then I'll attack Liliana. And I'll fetch basic planes, even though I'd like to leave a basic in my deck if he has Path. If he has Path, the game's likely over anyway, so that long-term strategy doesn't really matter. Okay, so that resolves, which means he can't Gifts Ungiven me. Actually, I still feel like I should probably attack the Liliana, because it would be very easy for him to have a removal spell for the Leyline. Alright, let's see what Ball Buster he's got here. Could be anything. Doesn't have anything in his graveyard for Snapcaster Mage, though he could play Snapcaster to chump block, keep Liliana alive. Alright, let's see what this is. Okay, he's blocking with the Tar Pit. So now he can possibly Maelstrom Pulse this and then Edict. If he does have that line, at least his Liliana's gone forever. Alright, so I'm just going to attack him for lethal. Could have played a land and an Ethereal Armor, but I believe he's going to die this turn anyhow. Alright, so that was round 1.